Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Sarah. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by and welcome. I live in a small pueblo in rural Colombia. This morning I had my very first visit to a Colombian emergency room. Obviously I'm fine. I'm here. I'm talking to you. So let me tell you what happened. So most of you who follow my channel know that I used to be a nurse, an ICU nurse in the US. And at that time, when you're working in a hospital, you have to be up to date on all your vaccines, and you have to kind of have a record and you know what you've had. And for example, if you step on a nail like I did, you know your tetanus is up to date. Well, last night I complain about my dog a lot escaping. The spot that he escapes from is a place that has an entire pile of like old wood, like that needs to be burned and tossed or whatever. So there's like a fence above it and then an old pile of wood, which he steps on the wood and then he wiggles his way through the fence. And I have been trying to figure out where he escapes from, so I've been slowly putting in pieces of wood to cover the holes. We have like a barbed wire fence there. And every single time I do it, he pushes the wood over because I don't really hold it in place very good because, I don't know, I need to redo it basically. So last night, after the second time he escaped, I went down there, I saw where his hole was, so I brought down some long thread to like basically hold the wood together. And it was almost dark, it was like 5:30, it was like kind of dusk. I had my Crocs on, I had just gotten out of the shower, I realized he was gone, I saw where he escaped from, I was so like mad that I just was not paying attention, and of course, my first step, boom, right on a huge nail. Instantly my foot starts bleeding, and then I couldn't even see the nail because it was so like dark. But I know that that area is wet, it's humid, the nail is old, the wood is old, it's dirty, there's like mushrooms, there's just like all kinds of bacteria. And the first thing I'm thinking is, I'm like pretty sure my tetanus is not up to date, because the last time I got one was when I was working in a hospital, and I quit working in the hospital in 2018. So it has been well over 10 years since I had my like Tdap or my tetanus booster or even a tetanus shot. Usually they're good for 10 years. So I'm like, okay, should I go tonight, last night? And I'm like, I Googled, I'm like, usually 24 to 48 hours is fine. So I waited till this morning to go. Actually, last night I have a number for a doctor in town, and I asked, can I get an appointment to get a vaccine? I stepped on a nail, and she's like, well, I can treat you, but I can't give a booster. I don't have them in a clinic. You need to go to the emergency room. And she's like, you can go now. And I'm like, I'm just going to go tomorrow morning. So she's like, okay, that's fine. So at least I have a doctor here I can go to for things now. And so anyways, I had to go to the emergency room. In town, okay, this town is really small. It's like 12,000 people. It's a level 1 emergency room. There's nothing crazy. It's just like almost like an urgent care in the US. So I go, I check in, I sit down, I'm waiting. In total, it took about an hour and a half, which was like nothing compared to like in the US for like a non-emergency. It was like not really an emergency. I tried to go to the outpatient center, but they're like, no, you need to go to the emergency room. So it was me and one other guy. I was the first one there, so I got pulled back first. And yeah, the doctor examined my foot. He's like, yeah, you should be on some antibiotics. I'm going to give you a tetanus shot since it's been at least over 5 years, at least 10 by what you're saying. I'm like, yeah. And yeah, that was it. So an hour and a half, super easy, super fast. Not a trauma center. It's like a very like clinic-y kind of situation. If you have like a real emergency, they have to bring you to another area. Probably Andes is the closest, maybe probably Medellin even. But when I was talking to the doctor, he told me this is like something new that you might not know, is that doctors here in Colombia, it's like the Colombian law, every single doctor has to do 1 year of rural medicine. So part of him becoming like a full-fledged doctor is that he has to complete 1 year of living in the countryside. They call it rural medicine before he can become like, I don't know. He's a doctor, but like I think like for them to be like done with her training and done with everything. So yeah, it was interesting. So he treated me, and yeah, it was super nice. So if you're watching, thank you very much for treating me. And another thing that I struggle with, because like I can speak Spanish, but when it's like something out of the realm of what I know, I'm like, okay, I have to think. I have to use all my brain power to speak, and I had to look up what certain words were before I got there, because I was like, I don't know what that word, like you just don't, if you don't use a word all the time, you don't know the word. Anyways, it ended up being fine because I just asked them to speak slowly to me, and you know, that's the only thing I can do, and then I can communicate appropriately. As long as I can take the time and think, and they don't like just say so many fast words at me at once, and then I'm fine. So yeah, it was fine. I went by myself, no problems. So like 2 things. I know you're wondering how much it cost. First, you're probably wondering how long it took, and as I told you, it took about an hour and a half. The second thing you're wondering is how much did it cost? And then the third thing that I wonder as a nurse is how was the treatment? And the doctors actually take time to talk to you. I've been to a doctor before, but just for like a primary care visit, not like an emergency visit, because usually when you're in the emergency, they just come, they talk to you really fast, they're they're so busy, they don't have time to sit with you. But here, I mean, it's not a very big place, it's not a big hospital. The doctor had time, you know, asked me where I was from, what happened, and you know, took a little history. And it wasn't like I didn't feel rushed, I didn't feel like pressure to have to be like just feel a rush. So it was a very nice experience, and like they take time with you, and that's like very common outside the US. They take more time with the patient, and you're like, yeah, but that place isn't busy. But I've been in other places, and it's always the same. To me, the quality of care is good, the same or better than in the US. I mean, I already knew what I needed, so I have a benefit of knowing what I needed. And I had a feeling he was going to give me antibiotics just because he wasn't sure. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to put you on 5 days of antibiotics. I'm like, yeah, I figured. And then I was just like, I just need a booster or a vaccine. He's like, I'm going to give you the full vaccine because it's been 10 days. But I already kind of knew, and I knew enough Spanish to talk to them. And, you know, they take time. You just have to ask them to be patient with you, and it's not a problem. And yeah, I went by myself. So, you know, and okay, yeah. And I do have insurance here, but something happened and it didn't kick in this month for some reason, so it'll kick in next month, of course, when I actually, probably one time I'll actually ever need my insurance. I wasn't activated this month. I don't know, something with my visa or whatever. Anyways, next month it'll kick in. So I had to pay out of pocket, which is fine. I planned on it because as I said, my insurance didn't kick in yet. So I got my antibiotics, and I got the consultation. I had to pay for the consultation, the ER visit, and the vaccine. So in total, with everything, it costs about between 42 and 44 US dollars, depending on what the rate today is. I think the rate, the peso to dollar is a bit lower than normal, so it cost a little bit more. I believe it was about $44 for everything. And yeah, that was out of pocket. So I told my family, of course, and we're like, yeah, just add like 3 zeros to the end of that, and that's what you would have if you visited the US to the emergency room. So, and when I have insurance, it would probably be cut in half. When my insurance is activated, it would be cut in half. But still, like $44 to go see a doctor, get a vaccine, go to the emergency room, do the whole thing. And that's including my antibiotics for 5 days. So not too bad. And the experience is, every time I've been to a doctor outside of the U.S., which has only been a handful of times, I've been to a couple, one in Malaysia, one here in Medellin, and then here now, they've been way better experiences than I have ever had in the U.S. And this is coming from someone who worked in healthcare in the hospital my entire career, about 15, 16 years as a nurse. So yeah, I mean, I understand that it's different, but I think there's a way that the U.S. can do healthcare better, maybe spend more time with the patient, you know, helping the patient become more educated instead of just being like talking to the patient without actually talking, just kind of saying blah, 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 blah. So, like, you know, education and, you know, less dependence on health insurance companies because they, I think, they have destroyed the medicine in the U.S. That's why it's so expensive, because all these health insurance companies, and they deny you, and they don't want to pay for this, and it's just like, it's just a disaster. And the medication, like, why are my antibiotics so affordable here when in the U.S. people can't afford their medications? I mean, obviously there is a better way. There is a way to fix it, but it would mean, like, a lot of people would probably not get paid as much. Like, doctors here definitely do not get paid like they do in the U.S. and nurses do not get paid like they do in the U.S. But you know, at what cost? I think it would be a better system where people can get the help and care they need. Like me, for example, I don't have insurance when I go to the U.S. And I always tell my family, if something happens to me, do not take me to the ER. I will, like, I don't have insurance, so I would be screwed, you know, essentially. So I'm just like, every time I'm there, I like cross my fingers, nothing happens, because if I stepped on a nail in the U.S. and didn't have insurance, I would have not have went to the doctor. This would have cost so much money. I would have had to go to a private clinic. It would have just been like a big headache, and then I would have to get insurance. I'm just not going to do it. So without me going on a tangent about how bad the U.S. medical system is, I'm going to end the video there. And, you know, my experience was good. It didn't cost me an arm and a leg. It didn't make me lose my house to go to the emergency room for something simple. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.